Hey y'all, hi! I'm back again for another video in which I pretend to shop at Sephora, and then instead of checking out with a cart full of hundreds of dollars worth of skincare and makeup, I just look at the collection of skincare and makeup that I already have and use the stuff I already have basically to create exactly the same look that I would be creating with the makeup that I want to buy. If this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Hannah. I love makeup. In fact, I love it so much that I used to spend way too much money on makeup and skincare. When I started my channel, I actually started a no-buy year at the same time. I went an entire year without buying makeup and skincare. And then after that, I started reincorporating shopping in a more controlled way, first with some careful budgeting, and now just with more of a sense of balance and moderation. So I do review new stuff on my channel sometimes, but I also like to do projects like this where I use what I already own and talk about moderating those desires to just buy absolutely everything that is exciting. If you enjoy this and if that sounds good, I hope you'll subscribe. Now, let's get right into the meat of this video. On my face right now, I am wearing all of the skincare and makeup that I chose from my collection when I shopped my stash instead of shopping at Sephora. I applied this face of makeup in a Patreon video. So I just sat down, talked to my patrons about my upcoming move to a totally different state. There's a lot going on right now. So I was talking about other stuff, but I was applying this makeup and showing what the pieces of makeup were. I'll take some clips from that Patreon video just of myself applying the makeup and stick them into this video so that you can see me putting the makeup on as I talk through my decisions. But if you want to see the whole process of application and the look coming together in its entirety, then click through, become a patron. You can join for as little as $1 a month, and it's a lot of fun over there. I am pretty pleased with how it came out, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. Let's get into talking about my pretend shopping trip at Sephora. It's wild, y'all. I feel like whenever I do this, I find out new things or I'm reminded of wild things about the consumer psyche, my own mind, and my own desires. And this one was particularly a roller coaster ride. So the first thing that I decided that I wanted to buy when I went to Sephora's website is something that I already have. And it's not even a situation where I wanted to buy another color of something that I like, although that did happen on this pretend shopping trip as well. I went to the Sephora website and I was poking around. I was like, let's pretend shop for makeup for the video. And then I was like, you know what? While I'm here pretend shopping, I should really, for real, buy a backup of the Ren Evercalm Overnight Recovery Balm. This is a skincare product I've been testing lately and I really, really like it. It's like a balm that turns to an oil, and you'll see I've used up most of it. It looks kind of like a Vaseline type thing, and it feels like it when you first touch it, but then it really melts essentially into an oil, and upon application, it's almost like it's like you've applied a thick facial oil, but it doesn't feel oily. It's got this kind of lightweight quality. It's a great product, really soothing. It's really helped my skin stay moisturized, calmed some of my redness, and I really love it. So I'm aware that I'm running low, but I'm definitely not out of it yet. Like, I've still got weeks probably of use of this product in here, especially if I use it sparingly. Just because I was browsing the Sephora website, I fell victim to that old impulse to buy another one of a product, even though I haven't yet used up the one that I'm using. And I used to do this a lot, and I feel like it's pretty commonly discussed in the YouTube world, like, I'm almost out, so I've bought a backup, or I love it so much that I already bought a backup. I, especially since my no-buy year, never buy backups, even for things that I'm sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I'm going to replace. I used to have this mentality that I couldn't go a single day without a product. Like, I would have to buy a backup of this before I ran out because I didn't want to get to the point where there was none left and I was scraping the bottom and not have the backup right there. But what I learned during my no-buy year is that it's actually not the worst thing in the world when that happens. When you use up a product, if you give yourself a couple of days or sometimes even a week or two to not have that product, that's when you learn whether or not you really want to spend the money to buy it again. I have actually learned to love the little break that I take from my favorite product, my holy grail products, when I use one up. It's a time of self-reflection. It's a time of coming to Jesus. It's a time of really being honest with myself about what's worth the money, what I actually need, right? Because with this, for example, even though I really love it, I have other products that do the same thing. When I use it up and it's all gone, the first thing that I'll do is find out what else that I have that will serve the same purpose. And it might not do as good of a job. And it might be that after a week or two of using some other backup cream that I have kicking around, I really miss this and I decide it is worth the money to buy it, even though I don't technically need it. But it might also be that my skin is in good shape when I'm using the other thing, and that I find that it's actually fine for me to use up what I have. Maybe a month or two where I don't have this, I use up my other stuff, and then I really don't have one that will work, and then I replace this. And that is just more my speed these days, that kind of prudence, balance, trying to use things up as best I can, even when they're not the absolute cream of the crop. And if I obsessively buy backups for stuff while I'm actually still using the first one, I don't give myself that chance. There's no breathing room. And I also spend a lot more money. I end up spending and spending and spending, and products pile up, and those piles don't get used up. So my first instinct on the Sephora website was to buy this. And then I was like, I'm actually going to use it in the video. I'm going to use it as an opportunity to talk about why I don't buy backups, even of Holy Grail skincare products. And for the video, I'm just going to apply to my face the one that I have instead of buying a new one. So usually I put this on at night, but because I knew that I was going to talk about it, I just put a teeny bit of it between my fingers and pressed it into my skin. It did make my skin pretty slick, and I had to powder later. It's not an ideal thing to go under makeup without giving it time to sink in, but it does leave a beautiful finish on the skin. My products went on top of it beautifully. And if I had much drier skin right now than I do, it probably would be actually an ideal base for makeup, kind of like an oil primer. The second thing that I discovered in myself, a ridiculous impulse to buy as soon as I started browsing the Sephora website, is perfume. And this happened last time as well. Last time I fake shopped at Sephora, I was like, I really want this perfume I've never heard of and never smelled in real life. It happened again this time. 3 different perfumes made my heart double beat. 2 of them are by Tom Ford, and I think that it's just because the bottles and the concepts are so beautiful. Bitter Peach and Lost Cherry. These are pretty new. I think Lost Cherry was like a couple of years ago, like the new perfume from Tom Ford, and Bitter Peach is, I think, even more recent because I have only seen it recently. I think it's a pretty new launch. The bottles, y'all, the bottles are so beautiful. These glass bottles, one in like the pinkish red of Lost Cherry and one in this gorgeous burnt peach color, and then the liquid in the bottles is opaque. It's so brilliant. Just kudos to the product designer of these bottles. The concept, they're so compelling to me. I think that perfume, one of the things that makes it really compelling is the idea of having the beautiful bottle, owning the beautiful bottle. But there's a real spectrum. Some perfume bottles are just beautiful because glass bottles with like colorful liquid in them are beautiful. And some perfume bottles are beautiful because they're artistically and sometimes ostentatiously designed, like little sculptures. Some of them are just beautiful because the design is chef's kiss impeccable, over the rainbow, top of the line, beyond the moon. And I feel like that's what's going on here. Subtle, elegant, clever, simultaneously modern and vintage, simultaneously traditional and innovative, cheeky, but without being unserious. I mean, I could just film a whole video about how beautiful the bottles are of Bitter Peach and Lost Cherry, and the names as well. I mean, I love the names. Tom Ford sometimes really goes there with the names of perfumes. Lost Cherry is a particularly brilliant one. And Bitter Peach, it's not quite as overtly humorous, but it does have something gritty about it. And I just live, okay? I live. I think I might have once smelled an empty tester of Lost Cherry in Nordstrom's or something. But there wasn't any left, so I couldn't smell it. I couldn't spray it on myself and see how it actually smelled on my body. And I have never smelled bitter peach. But I'm out here wanting to like blind buy these scents from Sephora because I just want to own them in a way that sort of doesn't have that much to do with how they would probably smell and with how I like to smell, because they're both fruit scents, and fruit isn't usually my favorite scent for a perfume. I don't really like berry and fruit. I like smoky, oaky, vanilla, herbal woods. And I think maybe these claim to dry down some of them to a tonka or patchouli situation, which would be fine. Yeah, Lost Cherry I could see. I'd like to try it on my skin someday because I could see it working. It's a gourmand and it has tonka bean and almond, but this is just not the moment. I am not really wearing perfume very much these days. And I also have perfumes. I have perfumes and I'm not wearing them. And I have perfumes that I like and I'm not wearing them. So it just comes completely out of left field, this powerful urge to buy perfume from Sephora. And as if those two Tom Ford perfumes weren't enough, a third perfume assaulted me on the Sephora website, Dirty Vanilla by Heretic. Why have I not heard of this before? I feel like if I created a perfume, it would be called Dirty Vanilla. It has very mixed reviews, and believe you me, I read them. So that dampened the passion a little bit, but some of the reviews are good, and I don't know. I feel like a dirty vanilla scent that's kind of masculine or that doesn't actually really smell that much like vanilla, which is what a lot of the reviews say, could work for me. I just want to smell it. And as soon as I saw it, it too went into my fantasy cart. So here I am with 3 perfumes that I've never smelled and that I don't really have a context for, all in my fantasy cart. The mini size of the Tom Ford, the smallest amount that you can buy from Sephora, it's $75. And the small bottle of the Heretic, the travel spray of the Heretic perfume Dirty Vanilla, is $65. So they're all like wildly expensive liquids. So instead of buying them, and indeed instead of continuing to want to buy them, I went over to my little glass shelf there. One of the things that's on it right now, or that was, right now I'm holding it in my hands, but when I went over there earlier, it was on it, is this little sample of a perfume from Floriku, which is a brand that I only learned about recently when this little sample was included in the package of something that I bought. One umbrella for 2. I don't love it because it has some berry overtones. So when I first put it on, it smells quite a lot like, honestly, and I looked it up, if you buy the full size of the bottle, this is like $250 or $300. It's like really, really expensive. It's on the level of the Tom Ford. When I first put it on, it kind of smells, it reminds me of like a Bath and Body Works body spray that I had in 7th grade. Like it's very, very berry scented, but it develops quickly into something much more complex and really comfortingly gourmand in its own way. I mean, it's definitely got vanilla. It's a very indulgent scent. So it kind of, and I actually do like wearing it, even though I don't like the kind of Bath and Body Works top notes. I always feel like I smell really good, not just on the day that I apply it, but it's like it lingers, like somehow it stays in my clothes or my hair or something, and I just keep getting whiffs of it for a couple of days. So it's really powerful. Like this little, I've had a lot of experiences with it, even just this little vial, and I do like it. And in a way, because of its notes, it's giving me sort of, it's like the best of what I imagine Lost Cherry might be on me, or even bitter peach might be on me. It has that like addictive, indulgent quality that I want from a perfume, even though it doesn't have my favorite notes, my favorite perfume notes. And that's exactly what Wild Cherry and Lost Cherry and Bitter Peach would be like if they ended up working for me. Like if I ever try them and they work for me, they'll be along the same lines as this to me. So it's actually a pretty good corollary. But it doesn't have to be a good corollary. I mean, any perfume that I enjoy wearing, if I put it on today, that would be more than I have been doing in the scent department lately. It's a good reminder that I do like wearing perfume. I like wearing the perfumes that I already have, but I haven't been doing it enough. I definitely have no business buying any of these random ones from Sephora. Okay, let's let's move into talking about complexion. This one got me good, but then I did a reel about face. I really turned it around. Rose Inc., which if you follow me, you know this, but I did a video about Rose Inc. when the brand first launched, and I reviewed the concealer and the blush and the lip crayon. And I really liked all of the products. I was very impressed because it wasn't just like, oh, these are good. I really liked them. And I especially liked the concealer because it's creamy and pigmented, really easy to work with, and the shade is fantastic for me. It's very, very pale and really, truly neutral rather than being like a mix of cool and warm. It's almost a little bit grayish or a little bit olive, and I'm quite olive even though I'm so pale. I love this product and I like Rose Inc. a lot. So when they released a new product recently, and it's a complexion product, my ears really perked up. And on this trip to Sephora, I revisited this Rose Inc. Skin Enhanced Luminous Skin Tint listing, and I was like, ooh, maybe I should get it. Here's the rub though. Actually, there are several rubs. The first rub, and then I'll get into the shades, but the first rub is that it's a tinted moisturizer. It's that thing that Chanel, I think, also did. It's like little droplets of pigment encapsulated in a clear serum. So it squeezes out like this weird blobby thing, and then when you mix it together, it turns into a tinted, just like a tinted serum for the face. And that is the opposite of the kind of thing I like. I like really pigmented base products that I can manipulate. Just based on the description and all of the pictures of people applying it, everything about it screams to me, Hannah Louise Poston, you would not like this and you wouldn't be able to get your face to look the way that you like it to look with this product. So that's the main reason that I shouldn't be wanting it, but I still feel like I want it because it's from Rose Inc. and it's a complexion product and I have history with the brand and it's new and it's shiny and it's exciting and it would be fun to touch. You know, it's trying to draw me in with all of its qualities. But even if I could overlook the fact that it's not the type of thing I like, and even if I could talk myself out of remembering that it's probably not something that would work for me, when I start trying to choose a shade, the lightest shade is for fair skin with cool pink undertones, which is a big no for me. The second lightest shade is for light skin, so not even as light, but with warm peach undertones, which is just as bad. The third lightest shade has warm golden undertones, which isn't as bad as pink and peach, but still doesn't work for me. And we don't get to neutral undertones until the fourth lightest shade, color 40, which is for light to medium skin tones. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's just not a shade here that would come anywhere close to working for me. There just isn't. And yet, I put it in my cart. I put the lightest shade in my cart and I was like, maybe I should just get it. So today, instead of continuing to think that I might talk myself into wanting to buy this product, here's what I did. I used the product, the love of which is driving me to try to talk myself into buying this product that I know wouldn't work. The reason that I have the passion for trying to fake myself out and buy this product is that this product from Rose Inc. is so great for me. And guess what? I have it. I have it right here. So today I used it. And you know, I've been messing around with some other complexion products lately, so it was a nice return to this, to just use this today. And also I've been testing some green color corrector. I used one of the ones I'm testing today. That was really exciting because I've been without green color corrector for a really long time. And I feel like I was really able to get my face to match my neck without powdering my neck with like a pinkish powder, which is what I've been doing these months that I haven't had green color corrector. So it was really old school today, green color corrector and the Rose Inc. concealer. And I'm so happy with how my complexion came out that it banished the thought of buying this, the opposite of everything I love, the Rose Inc. Skin Enhanced Luminous Skin Tint. Let us talk about eyeshadow. This is another realm in which I just feel like my desires are off the deep end. The thing that I wanted to buy when I was browsing Sephora is the Tom Ford Quad, which is funny because the last time I did this exercise, it was a Tom Ford Quad too. Something in me really wants a Tom Ford Quad. I've never had one, but something in me also knows that it wouldn't be a smart thing for me to buy. And especially this one, the Bitter Peach Quad. I think there's something about the orange packaging that's getting me, because if this color story was just in a normal Tom Ford quad packaging, I wouldn't have looked twice at it. But in the orange packaging, this like burnt orange color and like the really satiny brown and the texture on the pans, there's just something about the way that it's been put together. I kept coming back to it and kept coming back to it, and eventually I put it in my fantasy cart to shop for this video. Then when I went to shop my stash, I was looking at the picture and looking at the colors, and I was like, I don't even want to do eyeshadow that color today. I was like, I don't even want, even if I had this quad right here, I wouldn't want to do it, because I knew what I was going to be doing for cheeks and lips, and I didn't want to put orange on my eyes. And one of the perennial frustrations that I have in eyeshadow is that neutral shadows tend to lean orange on me. So I was looking for dupes for these colors in my collection, and when I found them, I was like, I don't even want to wear them. I ended up selecting the product that I have that has a color in it that's kind of like the brown in this quad, or maybe a marriage between the cool toned-ish brown and the sort of rusty orange, which is also a Tom Ford product. So it ties in a couple of ways. It's Naked Bronze, probably my all-time favorite product for the eyes in makeup. I love it so much. And I was reminded again today when I applied it sort of hastily without an eye primer, with just a brush, like a brush on the top, brush on the bottom, and then tapping the sparkly topper with my finger. I was reminded again of how perfect I think it is. It's just, to me, the perfect eyeshadow and the perfect simple eye look. And it's this lovely, rich bronze that doesn't lean warm, which is surprisingly hard to find. I couldn't be happier with my eye look today. And it's like, why do I need a Tom Ford quad when I have my favorite eyeshadow product of all time I already have, and it too is by Tom Ford. And it has this beautiful simplicity and this moussey cream that I enjoy more than I enjoy most powder eyeshadows. The Bitter Peach Tom Ford Quad also has very bad reviews. There were a lot of people in the comments being like, I love Tom Ford quads and I have them all and I can't get this to work. But I wanted it anyway. I wanted it for a good long while. I think it may have been at this stage when I was applying this makeup that I realized that I wanted to powder my skin a little bit. It was looking super dewy, I think because I had put that balm underneath my makeup. I ended up using this powder from the brand Florasis. They recently sent me some PR. It is very pretty. It opens in this intriguing way. It's like it twists and then opens, and it has a very soft velour puff that I used. And I just wanted to touch base about that so that you know everything that's on my skin, even though not everything that's on my skin was part of the project. Blush. This was also a little bit wild. Scrolling the Sephora website, I kept coming back to this one blush by a brand that I don't know anything about, Item Beauty by Addison Rae, and I don't even know who that is. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Oh, she's a TikTok dancer. Okay, so she's released makeup, Item Beauty by Addison Rae. There's a cream blush, which makes sense. I love cream blush, so it makes sense that I would be like wanting to buy a cream blush. But the one that kept catching my eye is this like bright fuchsia. And I don't have anything like this. I don't own any blushes in this color. So two things are going on there. One, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't own anything like that. And that's making me want to buy it. A cream blush in this color that's really different for me. Really exciting, feels fresh and trendy. I kept looking at it, and I viscerally wanted to just touch it, that fuchsia cream. But also, the reason I don't have any blush this color is because I don't like how it looks on me. I'm really pale, so I feel like the cheek look that I ended up with today using a couple of pink blushes that I have already, it almost looks on me the way that this blush is probably intended to look on people who aren't as fair as me. Yeah, the person modeling this blush on Sephora has this beautiful mid-toned skin, and she looks like our blushes look the same today, right? Our cheeks look the same. It looks on her the way that this blush looks on me. The blush that I used, it's a mixture of Glossier Cloud Paint and Puff, which is a very pale, comparatively very pale pink. You know, it's nothing close to the way that this one looks in the pan. And then on top, I popped a little bit of Phytosurgence Fervor, which is a little bit more lavender. You know what I mean? A little bit more of that like opaque lavender. And I'm really happy with it. I feel like in trying to emulate this look, the look of Hot Poppy like the hot poppy blush look, I got myself to a place where I really like my cheek, and I also feel like it's a little bit different for me and it's different than what I would have otherwise done today. So I got that sense of freshness and being pushed out of my comfort zone and trendiness that I was craving when I was drawn to this blush. And I know from experience that if I had bought this actual hot poppy blush and tried to use it, I would have looked wildly clownish, and it would have been hard to make it work. Using a blush like this isn't how I get my cheeks to look the way that this blush is supposed to look. And I already have the tools to get my cheeks to have this look. It's just that I don't usually use them this way because I'm not usually going for such a bright cheek look. So this one was maybe the most successful shopping of my stash because I don't have anything like this. And I realized in the process that there's a reason that I don't have anything like this. And that in a sense I do, because I have the tools to get the look that I want. I had just forgotten momentarily when I was sucked in by the product photography and the listing and the excitement of being on Sephora's website. I had temporarily forgotten that. And shopping my stash and going through the actual motions of putting my makeup on my face reminded me. And lastly, the lip. This one was actually also successful in a slightly different way. So the lipstick that I've been wanting, maybe the thing that I've been wanting to buy the most from Sephora, is the Merit Signature Lightweight Lipsticks. I already have 2 of them because they sent them to me in PR. I'm really, really impressed by the formula. And I applied one, which video was it in? The brown one, 1990. I was wearing it in my new makeup releases video. I applied it in my recent video testing new makeup. And then in the 2022 makeup trends that I'm not excited about, which is another recent video, I was wearing Tiger, the other one. So I've been wearing both of them, and as I sit here filming, it was like the last 3 videos. I love the formula because it has pigment, but it's got that waxy quality that makes it so easy to diffuse on the lips. It wears beautifully. It feels nourishing. To me, it's like the updated and perfected version of the Bobbi Brown crushed lip color, and with a way, way better shade range. It's like instant icon status. I'm serious about this lipstick. It's a good one. I feel like with this release, Merit has kind of cemented itself. I was already pretty impressed by what they had done, but now I'm following their future career with great interest. However, I already have 2 lipsticks from this line. I don't need to be out here buying another one, which is what I want. I think I don't actually want more. I have enough lip products and I love them, and I feel really lucky to have these 2. So I don't actually in my heart of hearts like want more. I know that when I give into that impulse to just have more, it doesn't really make me feel good, and I don't want to be spending a ton of money on makeup. So it's not what I want, but there's just still this pathway in the brain that's like, you found something that you really like, you should get more of it. This formula works really well, you should get it in all the colors. Or really just trying to push the same button again. I really like this. I like this exact lipstick. So what can I do to multiply that love, to make myself feel the feeling, this happy feeling that I'm having right now with it, to make myself feel that feeling more and more? It's false to think that buying the same lipstick in another color and then another color and then another color is going to multiply that feeling. I know that from experience. Usually what happens when I buy more and more is that when I want to wear it, I just wear the same color over and over again. My favorite of the 2, which is 1990, the brown one, it's always going to be my favorite of all of the shades in this range. And if I were to buy more, none of them would come close to this one. I would always just love this one the most. I already have the one that I love the most. And I would actually probably overlook the other shades even more than I overlook other lipsticks in different formulas, because there's something in the same formula that would be competing with them that would win. I know this intellectually. I've known this since my no-buy year. This is one of the things that I learned from my no-buy year, but I still have the feeling. I'm saying with my words and with my mind that I know that this is true, but emotionally I still want it. I want this lipstick in more colors. I particularly want the shade Baby. I don't know why. I usually don't buy pink things and I'm not drawn to pink things. And I learned why today when I went and found the lipstick in my collection that looks the most like this and applied it and it ended up looking really pink on me. But there's something about the photography of this color. It looks so neutral and yet so cozy, so wearable, so sensual. When I see all the swatches laid out on the arm, it's the lightest one and I just want it. I just want it in spite of myself and in spite of everything I know and everything I have. So I went over to my lipsticks when I was shopping my stash and I pulled this. This is the M Cosmetics Infinite Lip Cloud in the shade Cashmere Cream. It looks exactly like Baby from Merit. Looking at the cream, the lip cream on the wand with my eyes and looking at the image on the computer screen, it's like a spot on color match. I looked at it and I was like, whoa, I have something exactly this color. How exciting, how perfect for the video. And then as soon as I applied it, I remembered why I don't usually get lipsticks in this color, because on me, it doesn't look anything like it looks on the models. And I'm sure from experience that goes beyond just this product, that if I got the Merit lipstick in Baby, this is how it would look on me. Not only do I know that I don't want a bunch more lipsticks and a bunch more lipsticks in the same formula, I definitely know that I don't want more lipstick in this color because I don't think it looks bad. I actually really like the whole look today, but I almost never wear this color. It's definitely not my default. It's not my preference. This is an outlier in my makeup collection. And if I bought the Merit lipstick in Baby, it would be an outlier in my makeup collection too. So that is it. Those are all of the products that I impulsively but passionately wanted to buy on my pretend shopping trip on Sephora.com. And those are all of the products that I pulled from my existing makeup collection to wear to remind myself that I don't need this new stuff. And in many cases, these products actually taught me a more nuanced lesson than what I usually expect from an exercise like this, which is like, I have enough. The makeup that I already have is really nice. I don't need to buy more. I can get a good makeup look with what I already have. All of that is true. But in some of these cases, I learned from the makeup and from the exercise that there's actually an active reason why I don't want to buy the things specifically for their own sake and not just because it would mean adding more to an already full life and an already robust makeup collection. So this is a particularly elegant one, I feel, and I really enjoyed doing it. If you do something like this, let me know. If there's something that you've really been wanting to buy at Sephora lately, let me know. I'm curious to know what it is you all are struggling with when you go to the site. Like the things that popped out at me probably aren't the same things that are calling your name. And I would love to know if there's anything that is calling your name, and especially if you shopped your stash for something that taught you a similar lesson to all of the lessons that I learned today. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself today so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.